for asking.
Okay, sorry about that, listeners.
Yeah, it's just travel is kind of tricky. So what next? What is the plan for
Huh.
the day?
Uh, Today's plan is to, it's session 11, and session 11 is about how to distinguish yourself in the workplace.
Okay, okay. I guess I'll just
Yeah.
open the material distinguish. So I guess yeah. So I'm just opening up this thing. Let's see. Okay. Um. So help you. Let me share my screen again. Um. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So I guess the goal for this session, I'll just go one by one. So I'll just take a quick look of what is being asked, and then we can go over it. So characteristics, how and why it is important to stand out, explain the traits, your employer values, educate the students, how to distinguish yourself, information worksheets, share your successes, um, mistake at work, okay, open discussion, what did your teammates do that you appreciated? Do you understand how to stand out at work? Okay, okay, student homework, follow up email, yes. I think I've not sent a single follow up email so far, but that's fine. Yeah. Yes. So are you still with me? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Great. So I guess as the title says, how do you differentiate yourself in the workplace? Right. Um, I'll just put one word. Right. Ownership. Um, so whatever work you're given, you can either work as an employee or like own it. Right. And the difference is very simple. As an employee, you will only do things that you are responsible for, right? And sometimes you won't even do those. Um, an owner, right? A business owner, it doesn't matter, um, like whose problem it is. Ultimately, it's his problem, right? Like if you have like 5 employees in your company or 50 employees in your company, there's a designer, there's an engineer, there's a product manager, there's, I don't know, X number of people who have different expertise and different roles. Yes, uh, like everybody has to focus on their role and their responsibility first, but there will be situations where you will need to step up. Uh, like there's a situation where I don't know, say a customer issue or something like that. And at that point, the other person who's truly responsible is not available or it's not a priority for him for whatever reason. You being able to step up and own the business problem will differentiate you. Simple. So one word, ownership, right? And that will make you stand out at work, right? Because if Santa is just it's just a machine who I just give some work and it does one specific thing. Like you say you are a printer or you, I don't know, you just do that, right? There's going to be a time where things will change, right? We don't need to print as much, right? Or there are too many printers in the building. At that point, you need to adapt. So are you with me so far? Like, what did you get so far?
Yes, I hear you. One of them you mentioned is ownership, being able to take the once given a task, not just do it like a robot, do and finish and leave it there. Go some extra mile and demonstrate your skills and ability. And then the other bit is your being able to adapt flexibility in the work environment. Yeah. not just sticking to one thing. Should be able to learn probably other new skills within the workspace and yeah, step in case somebody in that space is not present.
Yeah, and there is a negative way of looking at it, right? Like you could think of it that, hey, I'm being overworked, like I'm just being paid this much, but this boss or manager is asking me to do so much more than I signed up for. It is a valid statement. How I want you to look at it is always try to over deliver, right? So if you meet your expectations, right, you keep the job. When you exceed expectations, that's when you grow or you've shown growth, and you get promoted. Make sense? I think I've had this discussion with a lot of uh, mentees or people who ask me for advice, which is, hey, I am doing everything that I've been assigned and the work is going well. It's been 2 years, it's been 3 years, I'm still not promoted. So my answer usually is that makes sense. Because if you are just going to do what you are asked to do, that is the bar to keep the job. And you are keeping the job. Great job. Right? If you want to get promoted or grow in your career, you have to exceed the expectations. You have to show that you're ready for the next level. Right? Don't wait for some favor to kick in or some time or that kind of tough stuff. As competition grows, you need to step up, and the results will not come in the next week or the next month or the next quarter. When you see sustained over delivering from a person, at that point I'm convinced this guy's just it's not just some energy, this guy's capable of taking it up to the next level. So yeah, that's so over deliver, right? Like there's a saying, hal jazaa'ul ihsani illa al ihsan. What it means is there any reward? Yes. Hmm. Can you hear me? Yes. Uh-huh.
What
Right.
about it? Yes, I can hear you. And I have a question. What about it in a work environment where you completely see no opportunity for growth anywhere? Do you still continue to over deliver?
So uh so it depends, right? Like when you say there is no opportunity to grow, all right, like you need to elaborate a little more. What do you mean by that?
What I didn't get you?
So you said if in a workplace where there is no opportunity to grow, right? Can you elaborate what opportunity to grow means to you? Like, give me an example situation.
I mean, an opportunity to grow would mean like moving up the ladder. So when I did my internship at ABB, my boss, my immediate supervisor during those 3 months has been at ABB for over 12 years. And she has been doing the same
Mhm.
roles for over 12 years. And I know she's a lady who over delivers in her role compared to every other person. But at that space, it's strictly the manager. After the manager is the finance person, and then after the finance person is the sales team. So you don't see any other opportunity like to climb up the ladder. So that's the kind of a scenario I'm talking about. So what do you do in such a case?
Yeah. So the good, interesting question. So basically, what you're saying is that you've already reached the top of the ladder, right? The ladder ends there. Uh, this is where adaptability comes, right? At this point, you need to be able to switch from this ladder to this ladder or contribute to others on the other ladder, right? Or grow your ladder, right? I mean, like philosophically speaking, right? So, like in the case of this ABB setup, right? Maybe the business doesn't need anything more than what she's already delivered, right? At this point, I think she should understand that she should not deliver in her comfort zone, right? If she's, I don't know, let's say she's an engineer, right? She's handling engineering for a particular segment in Uganda for ABB, right? And she's been doing it for 12 years, and it's been going well, right? At that point, I think it's a straight line. Like there's no so at that point, let's say I'm saying that there is no other opportunity to grow. At that point, she should figure out a way how she can either grow the business from a sales perspective in Uganda, like use some of her time, extra time, free time, like and use that time to get to grow her charter, to grow her ladder, or if there is no way, which is possible, right, due to business reasons, find peer ladders where she can climb, like move on, right? Like and over deliver to somebody else who's not asking for her help, right? But she sees that they need help. I mean, there's in any part of the world, in any company, I don't think there is a situation where everything's perfect. There's always problems. There's always something that you can do better. Like there's something. That's how I would say. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah. To grow your ladder or contribute to or switch the ladder, right? And switching the ladder can be difficult. So prior to switching the ladder, you need to kind of put your leg on the other ladder, try to contribute there, see if it makes sense, and then like own both ladders, right? Like take over both ladders, like make more ladders. Like if you can't grow it vertically, grow it horizontally, make more ladders.
Okay, sure.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So now explain the traits you and your current employer value and look for in their employees. Okay, so I am the employee, employer. Or let's say that I'll give you some experience from Microsoft, right? Because it's a larger company and probably is reflective of other larger companies. What I would look for in my uh, direct reports is ownership, right? I shouldn't need to worry about something that I've given to somebody. So I'll give you an example of two people. Right? Let's say there's this one guy who I know that when I give him some work in Android development, I'll just tell him, and based on my experience with him, I just feel that this guy will just do it. Right? He might do certain things maybe a little right, a little wrong, or whatever, right? But he'll take care of it. I just need to delegate, and he'll run with it. Okay. This is the kind of person I like. The kind of guy who has agency, like autonomy. Like I give him autonomy as to how he wants to do it, and then he just delivers without involving me. Right? Giving him work shouldn't become work for me. The point of delegation is, I don't want to do this myself. I don't have time to do this myself. You go do it. On the other hand, there is this other personality who who I assigned some work items. He's a fairly senior person, but he couldn't do it on his own. Like he was like, I don't know this, I have not learned this, I don't have experience in this. Come work with me and try to coach me. And I tried to coach him, right? Like eventually what happened is in a 1 hour call, I actually wrote the code for him. I was like this is so simple. I don't know why you're asking me this, right? You should have figured this out by now, depending on your level. I just code for you. Right? So not like that, not in a bad way, but eventually that's what happened. Like I just say, oh, you can do this and you can do this. And instead of doing this, I just shared the screen, took control, and typed the code on his computer and finished the feature. I mean, effectively like 60, 70 to 80% of the meat of the feature, right? This is the kind of guy I don't want. Right? Because at that point, you're not bringing value. You're just participating, right? Like, so the trait is again like uh, the ability to deliver without too much back and forth. Like you can ask one question, ask two questions. Don't like start like a debate of sorts. Make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Educate your students on how companies evaluate their employees. So, how does Microsoft evaluate employees? There is I'll stop sharing so that you get a better view of what is it, but I can like it helps me with the recording. Let's put it like that. So the question is, how do companies evaluate their employees? In Microsoft, evaluated on three things, right? I call it ICE role or something like that, like which is individual impact. That's one. Uh, Impact on others. Yeah, ION. Yeah, impact on others. And N is business need. Business need is something actually for performance, right? Is business need. So in the early stages of your career, you are expected to have maximum individual impact, right? I've given you work, you do your work, you finish it, right? Yes, sometimes you'll make mistakes and all of that kind of stuff, right? Like the quality of your work and the speed at which, like the reasonable amount of speed, like you commit to something, you deliver on time or like very close to time, right? You're able to estimate things well. This is what you would be doing well in your early part of your career. Next, when you grow, the second part starts to take more weight, which is your impact on others. So when you go from engineer two to a senior engineer, your individual impact is there, but you need to start mentoring others on the team. You need to multiply your impact, right? You need to help the company uh, build like alternative, like sort of make yourself replaceable, right? So that you do a knowledge transfer of what skills you have to somebody else, and that somebody else can now do it. Like you commoditize your skill, right? And move on to the next thing. So so in individual impact, impact on others, and then there is business need, right? Which is uh, are you really working on the right kind of problems? I'll give you an example. As an engineer, um, like I know this one guy who's very interested in design, and he used to contribute to design feedback, talk to the designers, put his heart into it, to do a lot of great work. But then he was not bringing, like, he was not solving the business need for his business unit, which is, let's say, engineering. That is useless. I mean, that's not what you're asked to do. So you're in a swim lane, focus on what business need you have been hired to solve. Your passion projects are put them aside. Uh, like you can do it, but don't claim too much credit for it. So what I told him is, how is this helping your manager? So the golden rule for getting promoted is, if you can help your manager will help you back. Simple. At a higher level, if you can help your business unit, your organization, your company, the company will help you back. Just because money, title, promotion, whatever you ask for. So simple. Make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Okay.
Yes.
Some new
Um,
insights. Yeah.
yes. Let me speed up. I think I have another call at 10 o'clock in 8 minutes. So, coach your
Okay.
student on how to prepare for a performance evaluation. Just give me a minute. I think I'm getting a message from somebody. Uh, just give me 10. Uh, yes. So, yeah. So the question is, coach your student on how to prepare for a performance. So when you prepare for a performance evaluation, mm, I mean, evaluation, let's say you have to present your side of the story, right? I would look at it as like ion rule, right? What is your individual impact? Have that set up, right? Um, what is your impact on others? Did you mentor somebody? Did you help somebody with something? Uh, those kind of things. And number three is business need, right? What real business problem or impact did that bring, right? And you can say that I built this feature, I delivered this, and I improved the speed of automation. I don't know, right? But if you don't have a number, it means nothing to me. It means something to me, but it's very hard to quantify. What I would suggest is when you prepare for a performance evaluation, get numbers, right?
Okay.
Identify. So one, like, order your impact based on business impact, because that's what your manager needs to know, right? Like that what helps your manager. What do you think helped your manager the most? Put that on top, right? What you need to understand is this is a conversation, right? And you are talking to somebody, and that somebody happens to be your manager. This is so your manager is the recipient, so you need to know your audience. You need to bring things up that your manager cares about, not what you care about. You can put that in writing, but like for ideal benefit, right? The Wisdom rule. What's in it for me when you talk to me, right? So figure out what your manager cares, performance evaluation for that, business need impact. And one important thing I would say is own your mistakes, right? Before your manager brings it up, I would highly encourage you bring it up first, right? That, hey, I made this mistake here, and this is what I learned from it, and this is what I will do going forward. So at that point, the manager is not going to like push you further on it, right? But if you don't take responsibility for what mistake you've done, and you say that I'm perfect, I didn't do anything, was his fault, their fault, whatever fault, and you start an argument, end of story. Just nothing, not much good is going to come out of that discussion. So, like, own your faults, own your mistakes. Like, I usually bring it up in my performance evaluation, and I can give you a document. I can show you one of my performance evaluation docs, okay? And you can see how I uh, did something. Let me see. Can you you can't see my screen yet, right? Just a moment. Okay, so this is something. Okay, let me open this for you. Okay, so this is let me share my screen. Uh, Wait, there is share screen. Okay, so so what this is it? mm, this is a. Can you see my screen?
No,
Yeah,
I cannot
yeah. Can you see my screen?
see your screen yet.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Still not. You cannot see. It's okay. Yeah, never mind. I'll just stop sharing and just talk through it. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, so how Microsoft measures impact is your key individual accomplishments. I don't.
I can see your photo. I'm usually loading. I'm not so sure about that.
It's fine. It's fine. So what I'm trying to say is, coming back to the question, right? The question is how to prepare for performance evaluation. One of the things that you should do is you should reflect uh, on a challenge or a setback. Right, there's a section for reflect on a challenge or a setback in performance evaluations in Microsoft called Connects. So there, what you say is you consider what you could have done differently, and how will you apply this for what you learned to like to kind of do something different in the next time. Right? So this is the purpose is reflecting back on a setback and what move forward. So this is a very important part. This is what you screwed up, and how are you going to fix it forward. So this shows you a growth mindset. A growth mindset basically says that, hey, challenges happened, but I'll take this as a learning. and as an opportunity to grow. That's yeah, that's pretty much it. And prepare your student for the possibility of negative performance reviews and how to handle them. So if you screwed up early, I guess what I would say is just own the fault. Right? If you call it out first, it automatically diffuses the other opponent. Right? There's a law of power that says what do you call it? Uh, I forget the law, but the law basically says that give up early to gain the advantage. Right? So that's a very interesting way to kind of look at the problem. Now, yeah, we just have one more minute. I just want to quickly ask you what are things your teammates did that you appreciated? Basically, if your school is the workplace.
I didn't get you, Muhammad.
So there is a question in the discussion which is Santa as you in group projects in school. What did your teammates do that you appreciated?
What my colleagues did that I appreciated.
Yes.
Okay. I have to think through this. Muhammad, I
Think
have to think
you don't
through
appreciate?
this. No,
Okay,
I do.
let's move on.
I do. I do. I
Uh,
think most important to me is the team's ability to own their specific tasks. So when you get to work on a
uh-huh,
team project, you know this one is going to do this, this ones are going to do this one is going to do this, and then the ability to own the task
uh-huh,
and then deliver and make sure that teamwork is like accomplished on time. I think we had one project that was like pretty challenging at the start of the project. My team, I think we were four, and the rest of the other teams were six. So at the start of it, like we felt like we were going to lag behind. We were not going to deliver because we were few in numbers. But later on, when we sat down and strategized as a team, we were actually able to like win that competition within the class at the end of the day. So it's all attributed back to the team's ability to own the work, stick to deadlines, still work as a team, and then where this person needed support, somebody else could come in and that kind of thing. And so we're able to beat the bigger teams in class. Like that was surprising. Everyone was looking at us and they're like, will they finish this project? Yeah.
yeah. So I guess just
I don't know
professionalism,
if you
right?
got me.
Just doing what you signed up for. Yeah, I got it. I think the whole the one word for this would be like just delivering what you promised. Do doing what you said you'd do. Simple. Like, but to meet your deadlines, get each person's work done
Yeah.
so that the collective makes progress. Makes sense. Yeah. Just and do you understand how to stand out at work? That's the final question, I guess, that we'll have.
Mm. Yes, I think I've gotten you. I think for me, the new thing that came in today was the ownership bit of it. Yeah, I think many times I just get to deliver. So for the other organization I volunteer for, I usually just make sure I deliver on my task, and that is it. I feel like taking on an extra task because it's a volunteer role, and then the fact that it's an NGO. It only has two full-time employees. The rest of us are volunteers. So I look at it in such a way that there is no like an opportunity for growth. There's no like okay, there's an opportunity for growth, but you probably would never get promoted up in somehow at the role or become a full-time employee of the company. That is something I don't want. So what I do is I just deliver on what I'm supposed to do and close it up. Do nothing extra unless otherwise.
Yeah. I think like don't expect everything. Like don't expect return on investment on everything, right?
Hi,
I mean,
Muhammad.
yeah, like not directly from the employer, right? Like I mean, like if you're a God-fearing person, at the end, doing good work makes you a good servant of God, right? Slave of God, right? You doing more only makes him more pleased with you being a better contributor. Yes, it would be nice if you could get paid for it, right? Immediately. But as long as you know that somebody is watching, right? Regardless of nobody else watching, I think just that sense of, validation from a higher entity is good enough. And when you do that, the universe conspires for you, whatever that means. Very deep.
All right, Muhammad. Thank you so much for today. I've picked a lot. I've picked a
Yes.
lot.
Okay.
I'll contribute a little more. Okay, thank you. I'll
Yes.
see you
Yes.
next
Do
week.
it. Do it for yourself.
All right.
Good. Okay.
All right,
Bye bye.
sure. I take that for today. All right, bye.